Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's October 9, 2017, and this is episode 592. It gives me great pleasure to tell you that I have now released the update to our iPhone app, Photographer's Friend. We now support iPad in addition to iPhone and iPod Touch, as well as landscape and portrait orientations. As I mentioned in an update a few weeks ago, from the end of August I started studying how to develop for iOS. And following a week going through an online course, I set about the task of rebuilding our old MBP podcast companion app, as it was a little too long in the tooth to support iOS 11, which has now been released. I picked up the Swift programming language relatively quickly with the aid of the online training, augmented by other invaluable resources such as the Hacking with Swift and Stack Overflow website. I was able to create the app that I'd designed in my mind and even add a number of features that I didn't think I'd be able to do at this point. I submitted Photographer's Friend for review last Thursday and it was passed as I got up on Friday morning. And I've been delighted to see hundreds of updates from the previous version happening across the planet. Although I put a lot of work into this app, I really wanted to make it a free update for all of the users that had been kind enough to buy the original app. So I'm very pleased that I was able to achieve this. Anyway, I've put together a video to walk you through the features of Photographer's Friend version 2, which I've embedded in the blog post at mbp.ac/592. If you'd prefer to listen on, I'm going to go through a brief summary of Photographer's Friend now, but I do hope that you'll go over to the blog and check out the video. It's like 11 and a half minutes, and it gives you a great overview of Photographer's Friend. First of all, one thing that I'm really proud of is the fact that Photographer's Friend is the only app on the App Store as of October 9, 2017, that has both a depth of field calculator and a neutral density filter calculator in it. I've gone into great detail as I implemented both of these fundamental photography calculators, and I'm very proud of how they've turned out. The settings of the depth of field calculator can all be adjusted with your thumb while holding the app in one hand, because sometimes you only have one hand free. To calculate your depth of field, you just set your camera type, which is your film or sensor size, and choose an aperture and focal length, and set the approximate distance to your main subject. So basically, everything is set with the 4 dials across the bottom of the interface. The 2 blue labels indicate that there is some functionality there. You can toggle between feet and meters by tapping the focus feet/meter label. If you tap on the other blue label, which displays the hyperfocal distance calculated from your selected settings, that hyperfocal distance is transferred to the focus distance dial, and the display is updated to show your near focus limit and the actual focus distance. And at hyperfocal distance, of course, the far limit is infinity. As you can see in the left of the 3 screenshots that I've embedded into the blog post and into the enhanced podcast at this point, all of these settings are saved, so even if you don't use the default 35mm camera type, for example, your selection will be restored whenever you open the app. I even built in a night view mode for the depth of field calculator, so if you're using the DOF calc at night and don't want to lose your night vision, just shake your device to toggle in and out of the night view mode, which you can see in the center of the 3 screenshots. The neutral density calculator, which you can see to the right of the three screenshots, takes your base shutter speed and calculates the new shutter speed that you have to set after attaching neutral density filters to your lens to slow down your shutter speed. Simple to use, you just dial in your base shutter speed on the left and tap any of the filters on the right, and your newly calculated shutter speed is displayed at the top of the screen. If your calculator speed is 5 seconds or longer, the timer becomes active and will sound an alarm when it finishes to let you know. The first time you start timer running, you'll be asked for permission to send you notifications via the notification center. And if you grant that, if the app is closed or in the background when the timer ends, you'll see an alert on your device instead. This works even if you force close the app or restart your device. There is also a scrolling list of links to articles on depth of field and neutral density filters, as well as a link to open our podcast in the iOS Podcasts app, which now displays images again as we progress through various topics. There are contact us links, and I also added some help screens to walk you through how to use the two calculators in case some of this theory is new to you. Anyway, that's a quick summary. I do hope you'll check out the video that I put together or have a look at the product page, which is at mbp.ac/app for more details. At just $2.99 for two epic photography calculators, I think the photographer's friend is a steal, so I hope you'll pick up a copy from the App Store. Note that if you've updated to the latest version of iTunes on your computer, you will no longer be able to buy iOS apps unless you click through from the App Store links on an iOS device. If it's easier, you can just open Safari and type in mbp.ac/pf for Photographer's Friend. If you find Photographer's Friend useful, please do consider giving us a rating and leaving a review on the App Store. I've reset the reviews for version 2, and we need some high ratings and positive reviews to start ranking highly in searches. So thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast, please share a link with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes or your favorite podcast program to ensure uninterrupted delivery. If you have a moment to rate the podcast or leave us a review in iTunes, that helps to keep us relevant in the huge number of podcasts out there now. You can find me on Google+, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, etc. And links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com, so do drop by and take a look. I'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime, you take care and have a great week, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.